We're live.
Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday. That means it is time for some VWP experience, and I apologize right off the top for using that meme that literally took just a couple minutes to get run into the ground. Um, can we, as a community, like just go ahead and stop using everything with experience at the end? As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Mox, and as always, my co-host Ambrose Alley Experience
Hello, nurse.
and the Metal Mat Experience
It surely is an
Hey,
experience.
and the one, the only, the life just sucks. The 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 fun out of everything. Adam Rice Experience.
That's actually the most accurate thing I've said on this show.
See how quickly that shit can run into the ground when you just put experience at the end of everything.
Should we just go right to that?
If you guys want. Well, we always start off with how was your week? How's everybody's week?
It was fine until about 24 hours ago.
Was it not a good experience?
Oh, I hate you so much.
AA, how was your week?
It wasn't too bad.
Matt, have you
well, other than blowing
retired?
out a tire, I'm pretty good.
I'm a horrible friend. I'm a horrible friend.
I think it's safe to say that you are a really horrible friend.
Did you get that fixed up yet? Just
Get
put
what?
your chair where the wheel goes, where the tire goes. Just use your chair. It's the same thing. Did you get that situated?
I got a new tire. It started today, but I'm having a bit of an issue with the brakes. But once I am able to get that situation resolved, I should be good to go in terms of the Matmobile.
I'm surprised you even use brakes, dude. Just being honest.
No, I don't use brakes when I play Scarface, but other than that, in real life, I do.
Like since we all know where you live, I'm surprised you don't just gather turtle shells like from around the neighborhood and just use those to fling at other cars to get them out of the way. Nobody gets that Mario Kart reference. That's on you, not me. Um,
I mean, it would be
but yeah,
useful sometimes because there are some idiot drivers out there.
yeah, and you can tell this generation, this upcoming generation, oh, they, and it's not just them. I can't fault just them. Like people,
I
learn
can
to
fault them.
drive. Learn to drive. Get off your phones. Get off your whatever you and pay attention and drive.
Yes.
So, with that said, Rice, what wrestling topic did you want to discuss?
I have a now an unnatural and unexplainable grudge against the word experience. I
Well, this one
don't.
time in college, I had this experience.
Well, sir, that's something completely different. I don't
Yeah.
think
I
I've
mean, unless it's a
ever.
Jimi Hendrix experience, then I'm okay with it.
Well, right. Any experience with involving Jimi Hendrix or his music is generally okay by me. But
Even if it is Hulk Hogan.
except for that one, I've never
To
reacted
fill
so
AA in,
angry to
since,
something.
since she, I did admit right before we went on air that she had no idea what we're talking about. The War Raiders from NXT were called up to the main roster, Raw specifically, last night. and they are now. I'm not even going to get started on their individual names, which is funny
Trash.
enough is Eric and Ivor. But they're now called the Viking Experience, and everybody took off and ran with the
Oh, okay.
name and using, yeah, and putting experience at the end of everything.
See, I didn't. I watched maybe 5 or 10 minutes of Raw, so
Probably
The
5 or 10 minutes more than you should have, but
right 5 or 10 minutes you're not gonna get back.
the rest of the time I was watching Criminal Minds.
hey, I watched that all day yesterday and today. It comes on Ion Mondays and Tuesdays all day, so.
Yep.
I'm. I don't think I've ever wanted to throw something as hard as I did last night because it makes no sense to change their name in the first place.
I kind of get the name change, not to that. But you don't really want like war being in your name or raiders, not.
Are we really?
And to be fair, I can
Yes,
understand. To be fair, I can understand where they're coming from
but
because
to change it to
well, I can
that,
understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Because war. Huh! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Listen to me.
Don't
um,
ever, ever,
strap
ever do that again.
War.
strap
Huh!
in, friends that
Good
are listening.
God.
It's going to be one of those
What
nights.
is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Or,
I don't think that Matt didn't just blow a tire. I think he blew a gasket because Matt hasn't been the same since. Um, yeah, like I get changing War Raiders because that's very not mainstream WWE
are we?
language.
Is
Yes, yes,
WWE
we are.
so
Yes,
scared
yes, they
of
are.
a word
Y-
like
yes,
war that they
yes,
need to change it?
yes, yes, they are.
Uh, then let's just clean everybody's image up and have 80 wrestlers who come out and act like Bailey.
Oh, I wonder if Dan listens to us now.
Because that's what that screams to me. We can't we can't say War Raiders. That's
That's
going
War
to
Raiders.
absolutely. That's
that's going to
absolutely
conjure up
correct.
some sort of non PG issue with the children.
It's not that. I not so much about conjuring up things with the children. It's the overall.
I mean, to me, it's catering to a demographic. No, it's not even catering to a demographic. They think they're catering to a demographic. It's acquiescing things
Okay.
they shouldn't be acquiescing
Huh?
to.
I gotta help her. She potted herself. Stop all this. I gotta help her. She potted herself.
It's. I mean, I totally get it in a sense, but you're not wrong. Like, there's two hands to this. Like, it's not that bad of a thing, but I can see where like they would change it, but to change it to what they changed it to. And I thought the
Someone
Undisputed Era was the worst name I've heard of in for a
move
long time.
over Orient
Yeah.
Express, move over Techno Team 2000. This is the worst name ever.
How dare you disparage the good name of Eric Watts, sir?
He's got a point.
Bill Wa- Bill Watts. does that on a regular basis.
Now let me tell you something about robots here.
Oh
Stop it.
God. Oh God. It's gonna be one of those nights. We're gonna get a freaking Bill Watts promo. Go ahead.
All I got nothing to say. I was just impersonating JR's podcast.
Oh.
Oh God. But so, and someone looked it up. In the Viking Experience, literally is the name of a tourist attraction in Norway.
Yes.
They named them after a tourist attraction.
Well.
Norway.
Oh, I thought he was going somewhere else with that. Norway did they name it after that?
Oh, that too.
I it,
I think that was just accidental, kind of like the submission sorority sisters.
yeah, that one was also. But to me, and it wouldn't. I understand why they did. I'll have to get over why they changed it from the War Raiders and War Machine in the very first place because IP
Well,
and wanting to have control
yeah,
and all that.
going
But
from War Machine to War Raiders was an easy, understandable reason.
and also, but the other thing was they kept their names.
Yeah, and I was about to ask, what's bigger here? The actual tag team name being changed or their names being changed? Their individual names.
It's a little bit of A, a little bit of B, because they're both equally terrible, honestly. But you hold a gun to my head, it's their names.
Individually.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's at least we can have fun with, excuse me, with the experience stuff. The individual character name switches are, I mean, I guess you could have fun with it, but it's why? Why? Uh, at least I will give WWE credit for this.
Wait. What?
I know, I know. The Viking experience and their debut, everything all culminating, all in one. That shit was trending on Twitter all
Immediately.
night. Yeah, immediately and all night.
Uh, guys,
So, sir,
if I missed it tonight, I didn't. They split up the squad.
Yeah, they did. It was quiet. I did not see that on the show. Now, I do have the official list of everybody that has jumped from brand to brand. On SmackDown, we have Roman Reigns, Finn Balor,
well,
Elias, Bailey, Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, Lars Sullivan, Buddy Murphy, Liv Morgan, Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, and Mickey James. So no Monday Night MILF for everybody.
Oh God.
hey, I'll take
And for
Tuesday Night
Raw,
Milf.
we have AJ Styles, The Miz, Ricochet, Aleister Black, Eric with a K, Ivar, Andre, Selena Vega, Rey Mysterio, The Usos, Naomi, EC3, Lacey Evans, Eric Young, and Cedric Alexander.
And as we're talking about the Riot Squad, and that's a shame. Also,
I'm
um, by Sanity.
Okay, I
yeah.
kind of
Insanity is
get,
essentially gone.
I kind of get wanting to send someone on the Riot Squad on their own. But Liv Morgan, really?
Absolutely,
I mean, she's not a bad
absolutely.
wrestler by any means, but if you are going to send someone from the squad on their own, why not send Ruby on her own?
Well, I think Ruby's going to be on her own more than the squad. Just she's staying on Raw. Absolutely, send Liv
Maybe,
to
but
SmackDown.
There, see, to me, by making the changes with the women division, Sans Live that they made, that was perfectly set up for them to actually make the squad look good on Raw.
Yeah.
And now what you've done is you've taken their objectively their weakest worker, put her by herself, and are now asking her to go figure it out.
Well, she's probably still concussed from Rebella, but that's a different topic.
So that does not bode well to me,
But
because she
we
will.
said the same. We said the same thing 3 years ago about Carmella, though. So give it a chance.
I'll give it a chance, but this does not bode well because she's now on the stronger of the two divisions. And she has to wade through three of the four horsewomen, Carmella, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose, and Ember Moon, and Kairi Sane, and Asuka.
don't forget the Iconics.
I already have. Um,
Who?
exactly.
How dare you, sir?
I
So
know Peyton Royce. I don't know what this team you're talking about.
so what you've done is you've inserted someone. You're throwing her in the deep end.
And I'm gonna say this, and I thought it last night. I thought this going into last night. I don't think we're done yet.
No, we're not, because
I don't.
the big that we have a big lingering question out there, and her name is Sasha Banks.
Well, that's the obvious question mark. And I was gonna when you were listing who's on SmackDown, like, and Sasha might be. My sources can't confirm nor deny anything. That's um, honestly, I haven't asked. I'm just letting that situation kind of resolve on its own before I start asking questions. But yeah, that's and now I lost where I was going. But yeah, I don't think we're done
We're not. No, you're right.
uh,
Um,
because they always do trades and this was a okay. We did WrestleMania. We did the Monday and Tuesday after WrestleMania. We have to do a shakeup to try to boost ratings, which it didn't. And now what? Like some of it's like gonna be like Finn going to SmackDown. That's set in stone. Roman going to SmackDown. That's happening. Some of the smaller pieces, and now like the Riot Squad are smaller pieces in my opinion, but in the company's overall view, some of those things I don't think are quite done. A lot's going to happen between now and October.
yeah, this is sort of a part A. We will have a part B before the move to Fox. Um, but I would say this is their start of trying to get things the way they want. As in by they, I mean the company and the networks, because although I think it's kind of if they were ready to be set in stone, I think we would have had the Usos on Friday Night SmackDown with Roman. But you can't have that much Samoan power on one show, so it,
The female demographic would go way up. Like,
no kidding.
wait. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean That's a lot of hot bodies on one show.
Between them and Finn, and
See, you get it.
yeah, I get it. Um,
Which, off air, I might ask how you got it so quick, but
Look, I'm dumb. I'm not stupid. Um,
what the most Ohio State thing you've ever said?
uh, so we looking at the list. Basically, we got these swaps. Um, do the shows feel even, or do you think there's a lopsidedness in this initial shakeup?
I'm
In terms of the women's division, there is such a lopsidedness to it because Raw has been gutted. The only person, the only person, the only top star that the women's division has on Raw is Becky Lynch, and that's it. That is it, and Ruby Riott, but that's it.
Well, they're making room for Lacey to do
Oh
her
yeah, because
thing.
that's what we need. That's what
I'm
we
not
need.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying that's what they're doing.
I
And
was gonna ask before we
That's what
got
we need
like
is
too
a
far
glow
into it.
reject, a high concept glow character.
AA, what do you think about Roman being on Tuesdays now on SmackDown Live?
Mm, I think they made a mistake.
Do you want to elaborate? Because now officially the Shield is broken up. Seth is on Raw, Roman's on SmackDown. So, but how do
Um,
you think they made a mistake?
I think they're going to lose a lot of viewership because Roman does have a lot of
Um,
fans there who watch. So I think they're going to lose a lot of viewership. And SmackDown's going to pick it up.
oh, you're
And,
they're
and
gonna
the thing
lose
with
viewers on
Roman is
Monday
that
that go to Tuesday.
Yeah.
the thing with Roman is I don't mind him going to SmackDown because it was time for him to go to SmackDown. Like he had done pretty much everything he could possibly do on Raw.
yeah, and
And same goes
also
for AJ going to same
from
goes for AJ
SmackDown
Yeah,
to
going to
Raw.
Raw.
Yep.
and there's still like a ton of people that I think really needed the shake up, and it just didn't. Like Nakamura, I would like to have seen going to Raw, like stuff like that.
Hell no, and Nakamura's enjoying that sweet schedule, man. Uh,
You're in
I'm just saying. Uh, and also, let's be real, from a business point of view, there was no way Fox was going to pay Vince $1 billion and then not get Roman Reigns.
well, that's all speculatory.
Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty safe
I mean, we do
speculation.
have mocks of scoops here.
Uh,
Do
We
well,
need to
because
know from Mox and his sources what's going on here.
uh, um, and just and this I'm going to condense this down. I'm going to speak Ohio State language so Rice can
oh,
understand.
bite me.
I didn't do it.
I'll go ahead and I'll send your boys some Texas A&M gear. How's that sound?
So, okay, we're in different conferences. You picked the wrong school.
Or
I mean,
Tech,
I'd
or
still burn it. I'd still burn.
how about Oklahoma? How about a nice Baker
There you go.
Mayfield?
Now you're a son of a bitch, and now I can't stand you, and now you will no longer be on the podcast, and you actually have deserved your severance pay.
See, I have ways.
You're fired.
No, he's not.
Damn it.
Look
Random
at that.
man over here override.
Your
Fired.
Oh, go have an aneurysm, Vince.
But the whole deal with Fox is not predicated on we need Roman, we need Ronda, we need. That's
Because
just
we know that ain't true.
uh, almost. Well, that's.
Hmm.
It's almost absurd to think that they're going to sign a TV deal and with the conditions that some people are implying as far as who's going to be on the show,
I
it's
don't.
almost absurd. It's not why they paid the $1 billion to get the show. They paid the $1 billion for the show.
Yes, they paid for the content. However, if what the reports are
I
true is
mean, do
that
they want shit? Absolutely
yeah,
not. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, they'll make their demands, and I guarantee you
But
there will be
they're and that's going to be a rock and a hard place.
true. But I mean, you're going to have to give the people who just gave you $1 billion something.
And those demands were met or asked and met during the negotiations and the signing itself. You can't go back and say, "Oh, but we want this and we want this." That the ink on that paper is dry.
It will
Like,
be
we'll give you this,
if the rumors are true, they want that more sports
well,
presentation
and that's
to
another
fit.
one of the and I get that because they want to put it in their sports block, their weekend sports block. That doesn't mean because this has been going on since the rumors came out, since the contract got signed. You know, everybody's going to SmackDown. And all the legitimate stars and no comedy and that's not quite true.
I mean, Vince is going to put on the show Vince wants to first and foremost. But we also
And
know
people are going to watch it. Fox is
yeah,
going to have the Friday is known as the death slot for TV shows, especially on broadcast. Fox is going to have the highest rating primetime TV show Friday nights every Friday for as long as that contract runs. Whether you have actual shoot fighting with Ronda and who knows who or Roman, it's WWE. People are going to tune in. Fox signed up for the brand. They can ask for and suggest they want it to be more this or this. And WWE, as also a big company, should oblige to a degree, but not completely shit on everything else to obligate to Fox. Because guess who's paying more money than Fox? NBC Universal.
I know you're going to say Saudi Arabia, but
they're number three.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is not paying more than Fox or USA or NBC Universal.
Um,
That's just, and I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to be contrarian too much, but that's never kind of makes my ears do weird things, like fly off like I'm Dumbo or something. Which I'm sure, like the listeners and even you three are like, well, "Can you please? Can you fly off?"
and also and you um and you heard the new names to get back where we originally were for the new Viking experience, Eric and Ivar. Please just put a spike in my eye now.
Yeah, I
I
can't. I just can't. I, ugh.
it, and oh, by the way, they went over the tag team champs. They
Oh,
get a
yeah. Like,
they get they get a rebranding, a shitty one. They change their names to just shit names, and then they go over the Jobber Tag Team Champions. What are we doing here?
but the weirdest part was they didn't make it. It wasn't a tag team match. It was an 8-man tag team match.
But
What?
they
What?
still somehow win over. I don't.
Yeah. And I've seen already some. Oh, that's Ascension 2.0, which by now we're probably on Ascension 4.0, 5.0. But that was the weirdest damn thing. You have Ricochet, Aleister Black, with Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder as the faces. Excuse me. Somebody finish the other team for me real quick.
Oh, it
Excuse me.
was.
The War Raiders
That's what I'll be
and
calling
the
them.
and the
Yeah, I'm
Revival.
calling them Warriors. I don't care.
Yeah, and the Revival as a team. Like what?
And honestly, for the rest of the show, for me, that kind of put a killer on things because you've handicapped them.
Kind of right off the gate, right out of the gate.
There's no and look, we know they can put on fire matches. We've seen them do it.
Yeah, and you can go over in your debut, but in this
Don't tell them they
situation, like
Underground.
do I know?
Don't tell them they Lucha Underground.
I have
Uh,
no idea what. Um, but you going over in this situation still isn't that big of a positive, if that makes
no,
sense.
it's not
It's a, it's
because
an 8-man tag team match, and it was you're there, and kind of yeah they got the pin, they went over, but they weren't like you could have debuted them even with the name changes and stuff in a different way to make them feel like a bigger deal.
yes, and getting the win in an environment in that environment, winning in your debut is the right call.
Absolutely.
But you've taken the wind out of their sails
Do
by
and before people get started, I'm not going to name names. Do I want them to debut and just smash Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder and win the championship right away?
no.
No.
Do I even want
Debut
them?
at go ahead.
Do I even want them to come in and beat Ryder and Hawkins at all? No, because even though Robert Ryder and Hawkins are historically a job team, they're now your champions, and they at least deserve to have that kind of bucket. They won't get it, but
You
I'm
know
just
what?
talking about in a perfect world.
And I said right before we went on air the medicine, and forgive me. You know what just popped in my head? You know what match we just saw at Takeover?
Aleister
Do that
Black.
fucking match.
Hmm.
Make sure you know. Okay, now Aleister Black, and since those last NXT call ups have been going back and forth and nobody knew. Okay, Aleister Black and Ricochet are officially on SmackDown, and they're staying as a team. Who's their opponent going to be? Oh, the War Raiders. I almost went with. I almost made a joke. Give them half the time they got it from Takeover, and they can go over Alistair and Ricochet and show the people what they can do without all this fuckery and without everybody being included. Just my opinion. Like
No,
there's
I
so
think you
many
have. Yeah, I think you nailed it. They there was a better way to do it, and they chose not to.
because
Again,
right now all you see is two big guys. Did they do a couple of their moves that we've seen throughout the years? Yeah, I guess. If they
uh,
here, what?
just a quick correction. You said Aleister Black and Ricochet went to SmackDown. They went to Raw.
Us?
Alistair Black should
No,
have gone to
because
SmackDown on his own, but that's another story.
Well, here's the thing. They're
we're talking
packaging
about
those
Raw
two as a
though.
tag team.
If I accidentally said SmackDown again, medicine. But we're talking about the Raw match. So
Right,
if
right,
which that solidified that okay, after these NXT call ups of who's going where, because they were on both shows, and
right.
that goes for all the they're on Raw. Okay, you have this tag team. They're staying on Raw. They have been drafted to Raw. Who could they possibly face? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
here's a call up. Here's the War
Here's a
Raiders.
replay on a bigger stage of probably the best match from Takeover to introduce you
Give
to
them
them.
that spotlight. Like I say,
And just,
you can cut the match down, minute wise to some degree, and still get the effect of holy shit, Aleister Black, Tommy fucking End, Ricochet, and the War Raiders are all really, really good.
Mhm.
And even have, Ricochet, Aleister take the loss, take the pin, because, hello, those big Vikings, they can do the flippy shit too.
Mhm.
But no, we got this clusterfuck of
8-man tag with a rebrand.
yeah. The instead of anybody talking about how great a debut, even with the name, even with the rebrand of the name, even if they went with that and their individual names, what we should be talking about, or what people watching Raw that don't watch NXT and stuff, what they should like, holy shit, these big dudes, they got it. Like
Yeah,
they're gonna be,
big
they're
time
not
players.
Ascension 2.0. Or
Right.
speaking of, um, are AOP still alive? Has anybody checked on
Yeah.
them lately?
Yeah. One of the boys posted something to their Snapchat. Actually, the pictures down there in the daily. I forget which one it was, but dude is down to a jacked 335. It's actually rather impressive. Looks like he's like dropped his water weight and he is all muscle. It is, yeah. But they are alive,
It's just,
and then after this match,
hey, you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but I was just saying after this match, did we immediately then get Stephanie McMahon?
Stephanie opened the show.
Yeah, that's right. We went from Stephanie McMahon and Shane to that bit with the Miz, who's now on Raw, therefore making it the
It's
intro.
like they want to get Royal Reigns for Raw.
I'm sorry, and I know you hate him, but it seems like every time Miz switches shows, he turns on a gear and he instantly becomes one of the most entertaining parts of the show.
You can, and Matt, I'm gonna apologize just like Rice. You cannot. There's evidence from the original brand split, not the original. The most recent brand split. The show The Miz has been on has been the better show, and that is evident. Whether it's him, that can be dissected and
It ain't him.
But
maybe
he's the
diffused.
common
But
denominator.
but every single time he switches brands, that brand becomes the better brand. It hasn't failed yet because he switches brands every year. 2016 SmackDown,
Hmm.
2017 Raw, 2018 SmackDown, 2019
Raw.
Raw.
But you were asking an AA a question before I interrupted you.
Who, me?
Yes,
Who's AA? Um,
that ain't right. Allie.
Yeah.
she knows I love her.
But you were asking another
You
question.
yeah. Uh, Um, I'm not sure if it was this past takeover or the previous one with the War Raiders where you watch Takeover. Like these guys are good.
Was there a
Like,
question in there?
well, what do you think? What do you think about especially tag teams? Let's just about tag teams coming up and okay, they win, but there's nothing spectacular about it. What are your thoughts on like say Dean and Roman came up or Dean and Seth came up or Roman and Seth came up without the Shield, or with the Shield, because Dean was the U.S. champion. That's kind of a hard question because of their debut and what they did.
How do you feel? Let me see if I can translate, Max. See if I can put this into words because I know what you're wanting to say. I think. AA.
That's scary.
It is truly. How do you feel about when you see tag teams come up, and then all of a sudden it's a tag team you've become familiar with, and then all of a sudden they get whitewashed into something else?
It takes away from the reason they were brought up. Because what you're doing is you're bringing them up because they did so great down there. Then you bring them up here and you're, as you said, whitewashing them to where, they're just another tag team. What's so special about them?
In your opinion, AA, has that been happening
Too
a
much.
lot more? Yeah. Okay, you answered.
Yep, it's been happening
It's
too much. Even to the singles.
well, some singles you can, but the tag team call ups just seem to be
Lackluster.
lackluster. Because I didn't want to use the word failure because that's not true, but very lackluster.
You're dealing with the company, and I would say, I mean, an individual who does not value tag team wrestling. He simply does not value that dynamic in his company. I remember Jim Cornette talking about Vince and tag teams and saying that Vince doesn't like tag teams because they're hard, just by nature, harder to do business with. Because you're trying to deal with two individuals, and let's say they're on different contracts. and you're trying to renegotiate, and one guy's coming up sooner than the other, and those kind of things. And you, Vince just doesn't like to deal with the hassle. He'd rather put two established single people together and do a tag team that way because he has individual control over both.
But that's so 80s, so back in the day thinking, because
And how old is this man? And then,
I assure you, the moment the War Raiders stepped up to Raw, they got the same contract. There's no longer an NXT contract. They got a main roster contract. Same time, same length. I don't know about the money stuff, but so that's kind of I know what you're saying, and I'm not disputing that, except that that's old school thinking, and um, I kind of
well,
see
here's the
Vince changing his mind a little bit on because yes, that used to be true of there's no and he's there's no money in tag team wrestling.
he. This is a. We all know what Vince. We don't all know Vince. I'm not going to say that, but Vince has tendencies that over time have become unmistakable to ignore. In his apathy towards tag wrestling and the appearance of tag wrestling on and at his shows, has always left something to be desired. Unless
Well,
they unmistakably
it,
they've
it
put themselves in a situation to where he cannot ignore them.
yeah, I was about to say there's peaks and valleys.
Yes, there's peaks and valleys. The problem is the peaks aren't as high and the valleys are always lower, almost
Does
regularly.
anybody
Let's
does
not for
anybody have the chat open?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody saying anything?
Nobody's in the chat.
sad
Oh,
face.
I thought BA would be here.
Did we post it in the? Well, the nightly should be up.
I'm posting it right now.
You better.
Uh, let's not forget that in the middle part of the last decade, or somewhere around that time, London and Kendrick were the tag team champions for like
2000,
300 days.
2006.
Yes, 2006. They were champions for like 300 days, and we all forgot who they were.
Well,
That's not
and
just.
and I love the Brian Kendrick, so I'm not gonna say. But his partner was Paul London. Come on.
Yeah, I know. And Paul London is a total jackass. I know. Uh, but let's not. But we can't forget that that's something that happened. They were
But the,
SmackDown champions forever, and people forgot because they were never put in a position to do anything.
aren't they or did their record just get broken as far as the longest running uh the subsidiary of how things are broken down? Are they still considered the longest reigning um tag team champions on SmackDown?
Well,
Or did
remember, the New Day broke Demolition's record.
yeah. Yeah, so that would obviously break that. Okay.
Let me look that up.
Well, I didn't mean because if the New Day broke the overall record and they were on SmackDown the whole time, but at one time London and they were held it the longest on the SmackDown brand during the original brand split.
Yeah, let me. I will.
But while you're looking that up, so we don't have dead air and I don't get Pink
Dead
Panther
air.
from AA.
Dead air.
Dead air, dead
Damn
air,
it!
dead air, dead air, dead air. Dead air.
Shit. But that was obviously a time when Vince saw nothing in tag team wrestling, and on the same token, not much in women's wrestling except for puppies and ass. And this was after they went public. I was drunk in public. They call me
Yes.
tater
I
salad.
was drunk in the bar. They threw me into
In
public.
public, yeah. They call me tater salad.
Are you Ron Tater Salad White?
Okay. So the way this is
Broken down, sir.
broken down.
God,
I'm sorry. Shut up.
gee, go, dude. If you want to, because there is a message earlier. If
I
you,
know.
I have suggestions of schools for you to go back to if you.
I know we're good either. So shut up. Um, the New Day is credited with the longest overall reign as of tag champs at 483 days, but they credit that to the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yes,
Here's the gimmick. London and Kendrick are eighth all time in the WWE at 331 days.
but their entire time was on SmackDown.
But due to the weirdness of the tag belts, that is also credited as the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Oh, are you on
The long,
Wikipedia?
yes, the
Okay,
longest reign specific record for SmackDown is 182 days for the Usos.
but okay, let's break that down a little bit. They can say the Usos all they want, which apparently
They do,
and all due to them.
but you're correct.
But
London
yes, it
and
was
Kendrick were on SmackDown. I have
the
to think
entire
this to
time, whether
the
it's the
entire time.
Raw, yeah, their entire reign was on SmackDown.
I have to think this is a mess up on someone on Wikipedia's end because if it's not,
Wikipedia being misinforming? How, no such thing, sir.
but that's what it says.
I know, but
Now, if this is how WWE is recognizing it, fine. It's just screwy.
yeah, and that's a whole different kind of worms of how WWE recognizes things.
By
But
the way,
I'm gonna stand by the Brian Kendrick and Paul London are the longest reigning SmackDown champions.
I don't. I think that's fair, but I guess, but that's not up to us. But I think that's fair. By the way, this is
But
a
damn it,
piece of.
I have sources. I have people. I
By
can
the way,
edit Wikipedia.
do it. Um, Just as a piece of trivia, only three tag teams have ever had a reign longer than 400 days. One is the New Day. The other is Demolition. Who's the third?
CM Punk and who?
I'm just gonna tell you now. You're wrong.
Revisionist history and all. Fuck it. Put Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder on it.
The other tag team in WWE history that had an
Oh,
over.
oh, oh. Go ahead.
Did you want to guess?
Go ahead.
The other tag team with an over 400-day reign is recognized by the company with a tag team championship are the Fabulous Kangaroos, who won the WWF United States Tag Team Championship.
I don't know why
That's
in my head and I almost called. I don't know why I almost called them. I guess Dakota Kai's on my mind or something. I almost called them the Kiwis,
sir.
sir. It's Dakota Kai.
Yeah, that's true.
I almost called them the Fabulous Kiwis, but the Fabulous Kangaroos. And as soon as you said that, all of a sudden it popped in my head,
Now you just got me thinking of things. Damn you.
sir.
Uh, I'm sorry.
We're live.
Um, I know it. So I know we went down a rabbit hole there about the tag champs and all that thing, but that we're just trying to say that champions
Uh,
need to have that protection.
let's nip the call up and this tag match in the bud real quick so we can move on. Um, so you have a call up. You have this 8-man whatever, and the call up does go over. Great, grand. Um,
Wonderful. No yelling on the boss.
Oh dear God.
what does that accomplish? Like as far as like future competitors to the or contenders, like it does nothing. I guess Money in the
Well,
Bank's
that's
been
the short answer. The short answer is nothing.
yeah, it did absolutely nothing. The biggest thing out of that match is the name change.
Hmm. But we can move on because my God, we have spent too much time on this. But we are. But I'm sorry. I'm pissed about it, and I feel like rightfully so. So I'm not gonna be upset about the time spent because it needed talked about.
AA, thoughts on anything? Give us something.
Resident
You're concrete.
Optimus.
Yes. Like give us. It
The
doesn't even have to be
Optimist.
about. Yeah, just it doesn't have to be about anything WWE related. Just bring us together, get us back on track so we can move on. Anything you have to say about Rocky Mountain Pro or anything, let's go.
Well, Rocky Mountain Pro is once again teaming up with the high school as part of the curriculum to teach the female high school students about wrestling.
Very
Always
nice.
a good thing.
Rocky
Uh,
Mountain Pro guys.
uh-huh.
I know we don't. Our friends. I won't call our viewers or fault. Like I call them our friends. I know our
You
friends
people.
listening. Well, I'll call you people, but
I know you
not.
do.
Check out Rocky Mountain Pro. Please,
I
they
wish
do.
called the VWP universe.
No,
What?
hey, that's trademarked, and please don't get us sued.
What do you say,
The VWP universe.
sir? But Mercury Matt Yaden. There's so many names I could list of behind the scenes. Mercury's actually an in-ring. They do so good with giving back to the community and doing charities and you can and they're live on Twitch. They have their own.
Right Now TV.
They have in the UK, in the States. They're just, if nothing else, Google Rocky Mountain Pro. Find a way to watch them. Find a way to support them because they do this stuff that I'm sure they're not making a dime off of, and I'm sure they're spending many of dimes that Enzo and Cass wish they had to do this stuff to give back to not just wrestlers but people in general. They're It almost makes me tear up because, as you guys know, um, my wife and son have, or I don't like using the term special needs, but um, and it's people like those that, like the Matt Yadens and whatnot, that really, really, like, I can watch a horrible episode of Raw or a horrible, 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 horrible
All right, we get it. We get the idea.
part of Ring of Honor in the Madison Square Garden. But it all comes back when things like that come up. So give them a chance. AA cut me off. AA never cuts me off.
You're overdoing it with the horrible thing.
He's
Well,
really not.
yeah, because the Ring of Honor show is a
Hagar the
super show.
horrible over here.
Oh God, he's now quoting comic strips.
Oh, good grief.
Dewey,
I hate Mondays.
Okay, Garfield.
It it's Tuesday, so
no, he was talking about Raw,
I don't.
which again, I guess we should get back to. I guess oh,
Moving right along.
yeah,
Sorry,
but so
I didn't mean to.
no, you're
It's just
fine.
so really, and I'll 60-second less. It's so revigorating to see like such a. They're getting bigger, but a small promotion doing so well for the community and giving back and stuff. And I know WWE gives back, and don't get me wrong, but the time and effort. Um, I mean, these people have like their own jobs and stuff, and they give back to their community and helping people, and it's very nice and touching to see, and very
Their goal
appreciated.
is to put smiles on faces. That's what it's about, and things of
And
that
they
nature.
do, and they do. So next,
I was hoping he would tell me what came next.
um, the Ohio State Texas rivalry is about to pick up.
There is no rivalry, sir. Only pure domination by the Ohio State Buckeyes.
So
Uh, I'll be honest. Whatever happened, I know something gratifying happened next on Raw.
oh, you
The,
literally meant next on what happened wrong. Sorry, I got all in my feelings, and you meant what happened next on Raw.
yes,
Oh shit, my
on this
bad.
wrestling podcast. Uh,
Oh, well, I'm gonna jump around a little bit on the Raw side of it. Um, so we get Bailey needing a tag partner, and damn it, I was close. We get Naomi as her tag partner.
which I'm happy that they moved the Usos and Naomi in a group.
Well, And by now, it used to be like, oh, if they're married, they're going to be on the same brand. And sometimes it didn't happen. I think anymore we can say married people stay on the same brand.
Hmm. It just helps with life.
I mean, and people will, especially a certain subsect, how bad WWE is, but they at least do things like that. Like if you're married, like at least you get the same days off. You're on the same travel schedule. So yeah, we get Bailey and now Bailey looking for a tag partner.
Well, Bailey looking for Sasha via telephone. It looks like they're going to steer into this. They really don't have a
Oh yeah,
choice.
this is the Sasha thing has become straight storyline.
I don't know how much of it is work, but they're turning it into a work
Yeah,
because they don't have a
what
choice.
behind the scenes, that's not what I'm talking about. On screen, they're turning Sasha not being there into a work.
Which is
If
their
that
only
makes
recourse. You can't ignore it after the internet blew up again for the
you
fifth
don't
time
say.
in a month.
In a
Um,
week,
yeah, but they are going to turn in the skid, and Bailey tonight announced it on SmackDown. I know I'm jumping ahead.
good
That
grief.
she's
Can we stay
a,
on a day?
No.
no, she's a singles competitor. So last night she was tag teaming with Naomi. Now she's on SmackDown as a singles competitor. So we have that to deal with. Bailey back being by herself.
I'm just gonna chuckle under my
Stop.
breath about Bailey back, but that's
So, sir,
you said it.
uh, I know. It, but the other thing I want to point out about this segment and the subsequent match, did anybody notice who got a jobber entrance? It wasn't Bailey and Naomi. No entrance, no music, already in the ring. Iconics.
Some BS is what
Matt,
that was.
Matt, you have the floor.
Okay. 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 WWE.
Good grief.
They are your tag team champions. I mean, for God's sake. They ended an undefeated streak last week on
Would you
SmackDown.
stop it with that?
They did. They did. They are the 1-45-1. They
Which no
defeated
one
the
will
Brooklyn
remember.
Bells, the
Nobody
greatest
would
tag
remember.
team in New York until last week.
I'm
Now the
going
Iconics.
to I'm going to slam my head in a sliding glass door if you keep bringing that up.
Can we get that anyway?
I hate you.
Well, I know, but seriously, like, you keep bringing up this streak because you've brought it up since yesterday. A streak that nobody talked about, knew about. Like,
It's a gimmick streak. I'm sorry. They're trying to. It's the high point of hilarity that they're trying to build up the jobbers they just put the belt on with by having them beat a pair of local jobbers who have a fake streak in order to give the jobbers they have under contract some credibility. Somebody make it make sense.
I'm just mad we didn't
Sir,
get the real
sir, just
Sasha and the
because they
real
lost
Bailey.
one match does not make them a job. All right.
I I hate you so much right now. I'm shaking with rage. It let's again. This is what happened when you put
Oh,
your belts on people you haven't invested in.
let's go back to I don't know how long it's been ago, but your discussion of tag team. You think Vince cares any more about women's tag team than he does men?
Less, less. He cares less about women's tag teams.
So, after they end
Matt's
the
just
undefeated
stewing.
streak, after
Matt's
they
about to
end the
blow.
undefeated streak of the Brooklyn Bells, they come to Raw, for a tune-up match, and they have them lose. Having them lose a week after WrestleMania, really? And to Naomi, come on. What they should have done, right? Announce in advance Sasha and Bailey versus the Iconics. Tag titles on the line. Sasha, quote, no shows the match. Iconics team up on Bailey, beat her in the handicap match. Gets heat on the Iconics, plays up the whole Sasha thing, which they're already doing anyway. It's genius booking, which is why they didn't do it.
Dead silence. dead,
Because
dead
because
fucking
Here's
they
the
no
thing.
silence.
longer
Here's
they
the
no
thing.
longer
Here's the thing. That could have worked if we're playing with. Well, I'm gonna rephrase that. If we're doing the
I was
Sasha
about to
thing
say,
anyway,
sir, sir.
if we're doing the Sasha thing anyway, that would be a way to do it differently. Is a way to get some heat on the Iconics, because that's what they need right now. Heat. They need heat desperately.
They're
Because
getting hate
just
for the wrong reasons.
yes, just being entertaining,
that's what I mean, sir.
kind of the part of the time, isn't cutting it. They're
I mean, we
they're
have them lose matches back to back on Raw and SmackDown this week. Yeah, it doesn't do them any favors.
I'm telling you, the Iconics winning the belt was the clearest signal that they don't care about these tag belts they've created. They did it just to keep Bailey and Sasha happy. And then they
Which
took
is
them
fair.
off after 50 days. It's in flashing fucking neon.
Eat here, eat here, eat here.
Yeah. And I don't mean I don't ever say anything on the show unless I make it abundantly clear how I feel about somebody. I don't say anything here out of malice unless I'm talking to Mox.
Sir.
It's I just had to get that dig in. This has nothing to do with Peyton or Billy. But this has everything had to do how about the presentation of them to this point and the work that we've seen from them thus far. You've hurt these belts by putting them on the Iconics. So
I,
now you
I
have
kind of,
to.
I'm gonna pull my Granny card, SK Green, friend of the show. Um, at least they're because earlier in the tag team conversation, like with the men, like they just put people together. The Iconics are at least a legitimate tag team.
Yeah, but in that match they had, that was a low bar.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Um, but I'm going to say this at the jump. I'm not happy that the Iconics got a jobber entrance.
Same here.
If you're going to put the belts on them, give them their music, give them their entrance, their they're walking down in the ring with the mics, the whole nine.
Treat them like they matter. I mean, for God's sake, again. They ended an undefeated streak. They deserve a
Oh
better entrance.
God. Hey, what are your thoughts on the Iconics being tag champs?
Well, they made them tag champs. They should be treated as tag champs.
Nothing but
I'm
respect
just
for my tag team champions.
Although I think they're kind of stuck in the same role that Dean was when Dean held the WWE Championship. They're just a placeholder.
how dare you?
That's what I think they're being used as a placeholder.
Hey, I'm gonna fire 3 people in one night.
Can't fire
Just
me.
the record. Oh, I'll buy you out.
With what?
Big Bitcoins, Hot Wheels. I have a shit ton of Hot Wheels. They're Morris's, but I won't.
Then
who do you think you are, Nick Gullis?
You,
Oh yeah, Pac-Man in the house.
oh God.
I'm just gonna keep just saying random wrestling names from the past just to fuck with people.
So we don't cuss on this show anymore. It's straight PG.
Oh
since
bullshit!
when?
Since I fucking said it was.
I can already feel Mark's uh, um, desire not to talk about Raw creep through.
Shit.
Here we go again. Here the fuck we go again. Um, do
You
I
want
have to
some
start
more
randomly making?
positivity?
Do I,
Is it? Sure.
you guys want me to
Oh
start
my god.
making matches up again, right?
No, God,
From
don't.
I can give you some more positivity.
oh,
The most funnest tag team on the planet has their T-shirts out now.
nice. Where can you find those at?
You can find them through
Or in the
Amazon.
1 hour tea? Okay.
I
Uh,
ordered one.
shoot, shoot
Gotta
the
support RMP. Gotta support my favorite tag team.
shoot the link in the chat, and when you post this, shoot a link on Twitter.
It's already been
Alex?
out on Twitter.
I mean, from us, because I'll order one. For those that don't know, the world's funnest tag team is
Mercury, Matt Yaden, and Curtis Cole from Rocky Mountain Pro.
baby. Adam Cole has jack shit on Curtis Cole, baby.
By the way, there's another little piece of good news. I don't know if you all saw the um, video
How the hell am I from Texas and you're from Ohio, and I never say y'all and you say it all the time?
because I am a horrible person.
Well, we know that.
Did y'all see the video of that Miz posted of his daughter Monroe taking her first steps?
Oh,
Oh,
Go watch it. It's the best. It's the best thing ever. He literally said on the video, the best part of me getting moved to Raw is because I could be here on Tuesday to see this. So go watch it. It's everything you could hope for. It will literally make your day better. Just go watch it.
I don't want to be all Debbie Downer here.
Yes, you do.
I really don't.
Don't lie to the
But
people.
that was filmed during the season 2 of Miz and Mrs. whatever it's called.
Are you saying the Miz is lying?
I'm saying it didn't happen tonight.
He posted it like it did. Um,
Matt
what
sure has
happened?
something to say. Like
Yeah, clearly.
it's good.
Is there any, what happened after our friends the Iconics got jobbed out? Nothing.
Um, pretty much. Becky Two Belt shows up.
Finally, something good on this show.
You ain't
I'm just gonna
wrong.
say this: she got the same promo Monday that she did tonight.
They
Not
And Becky,
don't
bad,
know what to
bro.
do with her.
Becky, for the love of God, quit calling everybody a dope.
Well, they are.
Not saying she's wrong, but she just uses the word too much. It was funny the first two, three times. You
It's
dope,
funny all the time.
sir.
Um, I'm starting to wonder if they don't know what to do now that they've got both belts on Becky.
They have no clue. I'll go and say they have no clue. Based on Raw and SmackDown, they um one of those belts have to come off, and
Has to
they
come
don't.
off soon.
Yeah, and they have.
I don't know about that.
You just,
Uh,
you're going to end up in the same situation that you ended up with Ronda.
Except that
You're
Becky's actually a good wrestler
doesn't matter.
and they're
You
likable.
can't. Doesn't matter. You can't choke a division.
and you're choking two at the same time. At least Ronda only choked one.
Well, I mean, when you're looking at what the Raw roster looks like now, they need someone like Becky to carry that brand more than ever.
Well, and that's actually logical thinking. Like Becky needs to have the Raw Women's Championship,
Becky does not need to
but
have the SmackDown Women's Championship.
especially going a callback to earlier of who's all on SmackDown now. Like that SmackDown title, I I don't really like this for a couple reasons, but I like it for a couple other reasons. The women's Money in the Bank match in a couple weeks, have it for the actual title, for the SmackDown's title. They overloaded the women's roster on SmackDown, and nobody wants to. Well, I say nobody. Don't have somebody cash in their Money in the Bank for the SmackDown champ. Just have it for the Smack. She should have. Once she won two belts, she should have instantly been the bigger woman or the bigger man,
Man,
and said no and relinquished one of them, make it vacant, which would be the SmackDown in this scenario.
But in kayfabe,
And
why would she do that?
because I think in kayfabe, the way they could explain it is my goal here is to make the women's division the best it can be on. And I can't do that. And I can't.
kayfabe is easily explained. She's already been SmackDown champion. She's never been Raw champion. I accomplished my goal. I'm Raw champion.
And she can also say the women's division means so much to me, and I want to see it succeed so badly that I will drop voluntarily relinquish this title so someone else can make their mark.
Yes.
And maybe one
Look
day
what I
we could.
look what I've done since SummerSlam. I want somebody else to do that this year. It's very easy explainable.
And here's the other thing: I know what they're going for when they do it. Can we stop with the Becky two belts in Champ
It's
Champ?
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Let's just throw it back a little bit. Call her the WWE Undisputed Women's Champion.
Becky, two
Well,
belts.
it's they do it for marketing, and it's dumb.
Very.
Sir. Sir.
Just like Champ is dumb.
Oh God damn it. Sorry, AA. Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry
the
to
Cleveland
myself
Browns
for.
won 2 Super Bowls in a row. Wait.
Sir,
Well,
we don't. I'm not even going to get into it.
I was about to say something about 7 NFL championships in a row, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's too young to know.
Well, how can he know if the NFL never talks about it? But that's neither here nor there. Um, just like the WWE, they ignore their
That
history at their own peril.
I was hoping the Monday after Raw that her come out, and I get the whole marketing of Becky Two Belts. I get all that, but her come out and say, since she's been such a, and I'm putting air quotes like you guys can see me, supporter of women and the women wrestling. Like, okay, I've got them both. My objective was beating Ronnie's ass. I did that. So this is my belt, and SmackDown, here's your belt, and I might
It
come
was,
fight for it. I'm not like, you don't even have to necessarily like give it up, but it's on the line. Here it is. Where you relinquish it, but where you can even say, am I making sense?
yeah. You
Like
could
I,
just. It would have been smarter had she just on that
it
Raw
would
after
have been
Mania.
smarter if Charlotte didn't fucking win the SmackDown Women's
Yes,
Championship going into
yes,
WrestleMania. That would have been smarter.
yep. But here we are in a position where you need Becky to uphold the Raw division, at the same time wait for a challenger on the loaded SmackDown division, and on Raw she's getting Lacey Evans for some reason I will never understand. And on
Oh,
Smack
and speaking of, and even Morse, this is all credits Morse, not all,
most
80% Morse. Because I noticed it, I didn't say anything. He actually verbally said it. Renee Young turning on Lacey Evans mid commentary during Raw on Lacey Evans. The fuck?
they don't
Renee
know that.
Young every week has been, she's a true lady. She's the lady of WWE. That's whoever. And she legit turned on her mid commentary of booing Lacey Evans, and Lacey Evans sucks, and or my 10-year-old, like, Daddy, hasn't she been cheering Lacey since Lacey came up to the main roster? Like, yep.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden Lacey's the worst ever.
Here, someone, our mutual friend Tanya Rogers brought this up earlier. Lacey Evans is a gimmick that screams that WWE doesn't understand what is current and what would get someone heat.
Not at all. They're
it's
trying to.
such an
They're
outdated gimmick. It really is. Lacey Evans, to me, is the Mance Warner of WWE. And here's what I
Sir,
oh
mean by that.
shit. Oh shit.
sir,
Here's what I mean by that.
she is a human being, sir.
Here's what I mean by that. Both of them, they come across as parodies of professional wrestlers. They don't come across as actual wrestlers. Like Mance Warner, it feels like someone that I would see on Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Lacey Evans, as
Greatest
well,
promotion
comes
ever.
across as a high concept glow character. It just doesn't feel realistic.
Yes, that
Yes.
is.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Have we never, I don't think in the year and a half we've been doing this, we've had a better analogy of anything. That's what Lacey Evans is, a glow character, a parody of a glow character. And we're talking some of the actual glow stuff, but more, in my opinion, mostly the Netflix series.
Mhm.
It's a
That
combination of that and the Steel Magnolias cosplayer.
Oh my god.
this I can we go ahead and add in a little stepper wives in
Stepford
there?
Wives? Absolutely. I want.
You may chance for a lifetime. This county would give their IT to take a whack of Weezer.
Don't ever.
Good ever, 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 ever again.
You missed your chance of a lifetime. Half of this county would take give them their IT to take a whack of Weezer.
Please stop.
So he did. See, this is why AA. This is why you and I need to have a conversation off air, just the two of us, and rethink where we're going.
I would just be in favor of a mute button.
AA's in control of that.
There is.
AA, what do you think of a gimmick where that they're doing with Lacey? And I know you don't watch much WWE. Bless, bless your heart in a good way. Well, bless your heart ever used in a bad way?
It's always used in a
Anyway,
bad way.
so like I know you don't watch a lot, but just the overall gimmick of I know you catch some YouTube stuff here and there, their WWE clips. What are your thoughts as a woman and as Lacey Evans is presented? Rice might be able to expound on this better than I. Like, it does it work for you at all? Does it turn you off? Where do you stand on the Lacey Evans gimmick?
It turns me off. It's it just turns me off. It's like it's it's hard to explain. But the first time I saw it, turned me off, but I figured I'd give it a couple of more times, and I did, and it still turned me off. Can't get into it. It's a caricature. If she had red hair, I would have thought of Jessica Rabbit.
Or Rosie
Again,
the
with the
Riveter. I
references.
know what they're going for is Rosie the Riveter, but it's just like if you're so late, and I mean, I have to preface this by saying, just let me say this, and I mean no disrespect about it. But if that is her actual gimmick, and Rice is already signed because Rice knows where I'm going, why is she not in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant?
Because that's what she's going for.
That's what
This
she's doing.
this outdated 1950s version of what a woman should be. We're past that. That's not even a heel character. That's just someone I don't want to see on my television.
And tonight they gave her a longer promo than normal. Um, and off the top of my head, I don't know where she's from. Your southern accent
It's
sucks.
horrible. It's a fake Southern accent, a horribly done Southern accent. The thing that bothers me the most about Lacey Evans is that they could have made her a babyface so easily.
What bothers me the most, because I respect her, she served our country. Lacey Evans was a Marine. Do you know what it takes to be a Marine?
She was an MP.
And
She's.
and we get this.
Do you know
I don't
how much
I don't
babyface?
mind. Go ahead.
Do you know how much babyface cred there is would be for a returning veteran Marine mother who looks like she does, and her story? She has the most 2019 human interest story you could have,
And rest like it's
and
but let's
in a few with some qualifiers, but that's a story. That's a personal human story you could run with. Instead, they've given her a bad Stepford Wives gimmick.
in defense, and I don't like doing the in defense thing, because apparently she likes the gimmick, and so that's okay with me because I respect anybody that served our country. But damn it, you could so many different ways you could have gone about this besides, and not just the 99% of the problem is the interrupting, walk down a little bit, walk back, the Abe Simpson routine.
Hmm.
But
I'm a
damn,
model.
you
Know
had
what I mean?
something there.
On the turn on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk. Yeah.
I'm too sexy to reply to that.
No, you're not.
And if she's having fun and if she's liking it, all well and good. Just as a viewer, somewhat of an insider, scoops. It's
Of
just,
ice cream?
I'm actually eating
sir,
ice cream right now, actually, while playing Miss Pac-Man.
sir.
I'm going.
Both of you, sirs.
So I'm
Is
sorry.
everybody gonna have ice cream tonight besides me? I can't eat
Yes.
ice cream, so. Hey, do you have ice cream in the freezer you want to eat too?
No, I have ice cream in the freezer, but I don't want any.
See, this is where you find out where your true friends are.
Oh, hush. Crybaby. Uh,
I am not such a bank, sir.
oh my god, you son of a bitch. It, by
I
the
mean,
way,
I have a scoop right now. Mox laid on his floor for 4 hours complaining about the booking of VWP's episode.
This motherfucker right. Seriously, hey, we're gonna have a talk. Just, I'll call you tomorrow, and we need to renegotiate some things. So
yeah, I bet you want to.
a couple of salaries around here are way too high.
Yeah, I bet. By the
But
way,
what? Oh
I'm
God! When
borrowing.
you say
I'm
when you
borrowing this from Twitter. The
sir, you can
only
say the word
difference.
stealing.
I'm stealing this from Twitter. The only difference between Charlotte and Lacey Evans is the internalized misogyny.
Holy fuck! Why would?
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I can't say you're wrong since you stole it from somebody, but whoever said that isn't wrong.
It was Tanya.
Oh my! of course, and she will be a guest on the podcast. For those that don't know, Tanya Rogers is, like Adam said earlier, mutual friend. Um, I asked her months ago, and she's ready to go whenever we ask her. Um, be prepared for.
Takes.
You think we're crazy? Yeah, takes.
And I say
You
that in
think
the
we're
nicest way possible. Tanya is
say,
one of the most opinionated, passionate people in the wrestling community. She's gonna come
there
and
is
she's
no
gonna come both barrels.
there's like people like me that give takes, and but I'll like preface it with something like not to have a hot take or but um Tanya Rogers is, like you said, both barrels loaded. um it will be a very interesting episode. She
But
does
yeah,
not play.
and by the way, back to Lacey Evans. Did y'all see her botch that moonsault?
Who didn't? Well,
I didn't.
I was about to say, besides the people that didn't watch SmackDown.
Put her knees right in Natty's abdomen, just right in her sternum. Again,
That's a finishing maneuver in some circumstances.
in a shoot fight, again, they could have made Lacey into a primetime babyface. Instead, we're getting this. I don't know what this is. All I know is I don't like it.
At all. And not in a good way of, oh, I loathe her. Like wrestlers you want to see lose, kind of like a Baron Corbin, for instance, or like this is just get better before you get this kind of push and this much screen time when catering has so much more talent.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. But on the other side of this, when it comes to Becky, we got Becky versus Ruby.
It was actually a pretty good little match. It'd be a way better feud than Lacey and Becky. Tell you that right now.
With what we have in the shakeup now that we know the squad is no more, rest in peace. I'm gonna go mourn later. Um, this has to be the biggest flat, smoke signal that they might be ready to do something with Ruby and Sarah
Yeah, I'll
by
get on the
extension.
red that phone and tell everybody.
But Ruby still dropped the match here. I mean, Becky goes over, which she should. Um, I just hope if you're going to break up the Riot Squad, then somebody needs to get something.
And as much as I love Liv and Sarah, I love the squad. Period. Um, the right call here is Ruby,
Getting
and
the push.
yeah, as singles,
Yep.
and after what we found out on SmackDown, and uh, dumbasses didn't even announce it on SmackDown. It came out afterwards, just like on Monday Night Raw last night. The official who switched what brand. Um, yeah, Ruby, and please give us full on babyface Ruby.
Oh yes, please. Because she is a great baby face.
They all are.
I
You want to talk
know.
about lost potential and what people are seeing that actually run this shit is all three of them are are good heels, but all three of them are better baby faces.
I think they miscast Sarah from the jump.
Yeah,
Sarah in the mixed match God bless it, the Mae Young Classic. She was pure babyface.
and
She knows,
she fits that role so well.
and that was before we all knew, about her lifestyle, what she does, and and all that, and how
And
she incorporated that into her
You already
character.
get me.
Um, she is genuinely one of the most easiest people to root for, and she carries herself that way.
yes, she
She is the
same with Liv, and I'll go and same with Ruby. Like they are so likable. Like all three of them. Even when Ruby brought out the table of
Nightheart.
recently deceased Jim Neidhart, like that didn't even get a hill reaction that it should have.
They, I don't know if they're going to get turned because you
No,
have to sort out where everything else is.
give me a chance.
Uh, sir, sir, I wasn't referring to that. Um,
I don't know what you're talking about. I was,
uh
my wife came walking by and I was talking to her. I don't know what you're referring to.
huh, huh. All right. You selling me some oceanfront property too?
Arizona.
I heard you. Um, I don't know. I haven't looked at what the heel face situation is on Raw for the women. Now after the shakeup,
It's not good.
um, it's not good. It's decimated and it's not good because your two most bankable stars are Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss.
What's wrong with Alexa?
Um, hasn't really wrestled in a year and a half, or at least a
Well,
half a year.
I was about to
But
say a year and a half is false. But
feels like a year and a half.
I thought the whole thing was leading up to Alexa Face.
She needs that
Finally,
face turn.
she needs what Kevin Owens did tonight on SmackDown. She needs that desperately, and it would work kind of the same.
They. I'm just now thinking of it in my head. Becky's face, Alexa's heel, Lacey's heel. Nominally for right now, Ruby and Sarah are heel.
You think a lot of no, I'm not saying that live on a podcast.
Uh, Dana face. Holy
Well,
shit!
Dana's
What have they done to this women's division?
It's become a cluster.
Naomi face.
you know what this is leading to, right?
Zelina heel.
Selena. Oh,
Sir.
Mm,
Get your mind
Yes,
back on
sir.
track.
where's the track?
Can't be a track if there never was one.
I thought that was rail.
Same difference.
I was about to say, aren't they the same?
What are we leading to?
Oh, my
I know.
worst nightmare.
I know.
Shayna.
Yeah, but she's heel.
Okay. It doesn't. Since when does that matter?
True. Or Sasha staying on Raw if she comes back. And she's staying babyface. By the way, just as of 2 minutes ago, there's another new addition to the SmackDown roster. Heavy
Cody
Machinery.
Rhodes. Who?
Heavy Machinery.
Dozer. Dozer. Dozer.
Pretty lady.
No, sir, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. Pretty lady. There's a reason why he's highly regarded around here, besides just like he's awesome. Um, Rocky Mountain Pro.
VWP alumni.
Yeah.
Well, Rocky Mountain Pro alumni, I should say. Same
Well,
difference, right? I don't know.
he was also MWA alum.
And people in the nightly are calling them the bushwhackers.
Oh God.
No, 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 no. Heavy Machinery are actually entertaining.
Bushwhackers are Hall of Famers, sir.
So it's Coco
Uh,
Beware and Tori Wilson.
What? Oh, okay. We're gonna sidetrack a whole lot here. Why is Coco Beware looked at as a bad Hall of Famer?
because
Why?
people have no knowledge.
It's sickening that he's the quote unquote low bar. Well, Coco Beware's in there. That pisses me off. Not just what he did in the
Doesn't make you
independent.
want to whip the bird.
Leave the
Oh,
bird out of this.
oh, oh, that hurt somewhere in my spleen.
You still have your spleen? That must be
Well,
nice.
I think so. I don't remember. I was drinking and things happened
You were in a bar.
in New York City.
Okay. Did they call you tater salad?
I forget what I was being called, but all I remember is that I enjoyed it.
I'm pretty sure asshole was in there somewhere.
Generally is,
Yeah, that's
but
why I
no,
went.
we have to
Go
get
ahead.
over that notion of there's a low bar for the Hall of Fame because A, it's all one man's opinion, and secondly, a lot of times you have to deal with the fact that these people are representing eras and things that A may not have aged well, but they're still important. That's
I
why
just I don't get the and obviously I'm telling my age, but Coco Beware always comes up during this time of year. Coco, and I'm just because I will get on a rant that I know you. Let's see what time it is for you. It is
past midnight.
Oh, you stayed up late for us.
Yeah, I better head to bed.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. But like you were saying, every Hall of Fame season we have this argument about, well, if so and so's in the Hall of Fame, I guess this person is in the Hall of Fame. Coco Beware played a part in that rock and wrestling era, a highly visible part
Even exclude like what he did on the Independence.
in the territories.
Yes,
Let's call them the territories because they're not really independents.
like Coco Beware was a thing. It's like saying Sting, my favorite wrestler of all time. Of all time. How does he deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
You're, that's exactly. And I'm going to say this in respect to the other person Matt brought up, Tori Wilson, who just went in.
Yeah, I'd go in.
Sir, at
I did not
least
mean
try to
it.
keep it PG-13.
I did not mean to say that out loud.
Yes,
But
you did.
condolences to Tori because Al
Yes,
died 2 days before she was inducted, and um,
that just sucks.
that's that there's no words I can say that that's yeah.
There's nothing to make that better. So our condolences, obviously. But when it comes to Tori, you can argue about her work rate or lack thereof, or the wrestling in general during that time. All fair points. But if you don't think Tori Wilson was one of the biggest stars of that particular era of the WWE, you're lying to yourself. Our friend Matt here has a podcast of his own called the Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast.
Oh
And
yeah,
Matt,
I know firsthand how big a star Tori Wilson was. There was
Griffin
one
can never get
segment
off
in
work on
particular that
Fridays.
I remember quite fondly, but that's a story for another day.
but Matt, I mean, you have a podcast dedicated to this particular era of wrestling. Are we lying when we say she was one of the most visible stars in the company?
No, not really, but even so, I don't know if that's a Hall of Fame worthy.
I call bullshit
Uh,
on both. There was a time Tori Wilson was the at the time
he,
the Divas division.
the, to me, she was every bit as visible, given every other opportunity. She was, for a lot of people, and I know this is going to be blasphemous for
Sable
some,
2.0.
no. Some call her that because of the beauty of the person and the inability in the ring. But I'm
Okay.
going to say another name here. She was the WWE's new,
Baker
at that
Mayfield.
time, stop it. She was the company's new Miss Elizabeth.
Okay, hey, we really need to have this talk tomorrow, just the two of
Tell
us.
me where she wasn't given someone to work with. I understand. She bounced around and she wasn't iconic
Sir,
and
phrasing, sir, phrasing.
No, she definitely was not iconic.
she wasn't given, Elizabeth had Savage and that package made the whole thing work.
Sir, we're just not doing phrasing. Okay.
I have no other way to describe what you're wanting me to describe, so I'm just going to stick with it. Tori was that personification and idyllic version of what the WWE considered beautiful at that time.
Tori was the, and this kind of relates to Sexy Star coming out.
You're
What
beautiful.
the hell was that?
It's true.
I all I said was beauty, and he started singing the James Blunt song. I need an adult.
I'm an adult,
No, you're not.
sir.
You rang.
Oh,
She is the adult here. Let's be honest.
so everybody shuts up, like, let the adults speak. AA.
But, but no, Mox, you were making a point.
She was the after we got through the Sable stuff, before we got to the she was that mid period. Oh God, how can I word this? Since I already said mid period.
She
Um,
bridged that period.
yeah, she bridged the gap of the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, to the Divas Era, and that's what Tori did.
There were workers. I mean, they still had Trish, Lita, and a handful of others who handled
And,
that wrestling portion.
Trish was on her, and Trish can still go. Don't get me wrong. There was Trish. Lita was on her last neck, literally. But and this is what gets me is and you brought this up. Um, Tori Wilson doesn't belong. You fucking remember her 17 years later. You know the name Tori Wilson.
And here's the thing:
And a certain segment from
Sir.
Oregon 2002
Sir.
there's more
against
than
Sir.
Florida Day.
there's
Sir.
more than one segment.
Oh, but there is the segment.
Yes. And you know what? We're going to be having the same conversation next year when Stacy goes in.
And see,
So
uh, Stacy deserves to go in just as a natural girl, in my opinion.
there are two reasons why Stacy Keebler deserves to go
Well,
in.
three because she has both. Never mind.
I have to
We have
stop,
come.
or else, or we will go down a road this show doesn't need to go down. Um,
AA.
Yeah.
please save us.
How do you want me to save you? By saying Stacy Keebler needs to go in because of her legs?
I didn't need to. You didn't need to say it, but
We're here now.
we have arrived at the station. So, but we're there's no good transition. So, Mox, just tell us what happened next on Raw.
Oh God, are we not on SmackDown yet?
No, we haven't even touched SmackDown
Well, my
outside of
dogs are killing.
outside of just talking about how the squad split up.
I've got to bounce for a second. My dogs are fighting, so you guys find out real
I
quick,
mean,
and
I
I
mean, you
will.
guys say that Stacy is going to be inducted next year. You know, they always claim they know me, coming to me, calling me Stacy.
No, no, you
The
stop
F to
right
the
now.
E R G to I dot E, and can't no other lady put it down like me. Fringo.
I'm kidding. I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. that there is no call for that, sir. Uh, I have nothing after that. Literally nothing. I'm I'm broken. You broke me, sir. Um, shit.
Some more positivity.
Please.
Milestone 9, which is the big show that RMP puts on every year. It's their WrestleMania. It's going to be held June 30th. And it's once again Al Snow is going to be there.
Woo!
And are they
Al
going to
Snow.
do it the way he wants it to be done?
They're going to do it the way RMP wants it to be done, which means it's
Why
going
are
to be
you?
fun.
I don't think anybody
Why?
got that reference.
No, no. I got the reference. Why are you the way that you are, Matt?
I don't know.
Uh, just Al Snow coming off the recent announcement of the tentative application for a trade school as a trade school for OVW. So him coming out here to Rocky Mountain Pro, I say out here, but him coming back out for Rocky Mountain Pro is a big deal, and look forward to seeing what he has to offer.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to it because I really enjoyed Milestone 8 that I went to last year. So this time I can't wait to go to it.
You can't be yawning before me, Alec.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. It. I honestly don't remember what happened after on Raw. Oh my God, what really happened on Raw?
I really don't know because as I said, I watched 5-10 minutes of it and then I went back to watching Criminal Minds.
Matt, did you see Raw at all, or did you work?
Oh, I saw Raw.
What happened after the women's stuff?
Trying to remember, to be honest.
That shows you how enthralling Raw was when you can't remember. Should we move on to SmackDown?
Whoa,
Kinda.
whoa, 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 whoa.
What?
Got the results right here. So we got Braun Strowman squashing EC3.
Everyone was bitching about how EC3 got squashed. Why shouldn't EC3 get squashed?
Especially by
Exactly.
especially
Exactly.
by Braun.
Why is EC3 still a thing?
He was never a thing. I'm sorry. This is clearly a guy who. I know they haven't given him a lot, but really, what's there to give?
I mean, this poor Elmo.
Elmo.
For those that don't know, cameras on. Damn it. Shadow's gotta go.
And so it was revealed Mox was a doggy the entire time.
I loathe you.
But you didn't deny it.
Worry about this stupid ass. Damn it.
Well, with
So
the
The
Andre,
opening segment of SmackDown is probably one of the greatest segments of all time. Like that segment was the crowd was fucking
they were over for
nuts.
Kevin.
And Kofi.
Yeah, they
But
ate that shit up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're skipping the end of Raw apparently because
I
oh,
fuck.
guess.
sorry. Well, somebody said something about move on to SmackDown, and
I mean, I was just gonna say
sorry.
that Andre, the Usos, and AJ Styles all went to Raw.
Yeah, they had that big 6 man at
Which
the end there.
honestly,
Sorry.
I'm glad Styles went to Raw because he really needed it.
Yeah, change of
Yes.
scenery is always good. Um, but you know what? This is a good transition. I'll let you guys talk about SmackDown. I gotta go to bed. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Um, you can find me
And
at PWFan01,
if we're
01 on Twitter.
nobody asked. Um, yeah, if we're
And
transitioning to if we're in a transition period, I need to check on him. If we're gonna podcast tomorrow, we can do SmackDown and our independent stuff tomorrow.
if you want to just call it now,
Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, that sounds great.
yeah, we'll pick up SmackDown tomorrow, everybody. As I was saying, you can find me at PWFan01
Nobody
on Twitter.
cares.
You bite me. And you can
Okay.
find me at Cage Seats on the daily and the nightly. Um, thanks again for listening, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Good night.
Night.
Peace.
And you can find me at the bird thingy at Lady Rashana. Find me in the daily at Cage Side Seats. And you can find me on Twitch at Violent Wrestling Podcast, no G.
Matt, where can they find you?
We can find me on Twitter at MelMat15, hang on K-Side Seats, hang on the daily and the nightly. And this Friday, hopefully,
Hopefully,
I will be I will be able to do Ruthless Aggression Era podcast with Adam and Mox on Unforgiven 2004. This episode is looking to be the Chinese democracy of the show, but hopefully this Friday we will finally be able to do an episode.
it's not like Rice has anything to do with his life.
And where can they
Yeah.
find you, Mox?
Uh, oh, damn it! I made that joke because I thought Rice was still here. He just left. Twitter at fireman6809.
Well, good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.